What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant. And before we get started, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. As well, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment, as I'm always intrigued to know what y'all got to say about these topics that we discuss. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get to this work. As I've been kind of talking about this situation, talking around the situation, but an opportunity has presented itself to talk directly to the situation, and that is to the unfair, unjustified treatment of Jaylen Brown and Team USA. Now, for everybody that has not, I ain't gonna say living under a rock, but if you haven't been aware, this news has been out there a couple of days now. I was just doing, my due diligence, my research to make sure I wasn't missing any rocks, that I didn't unturn or that I didn't turn over, to make sure I do my due diligence when I'm reporting this, because it just seems like a funny situation, not in a hilarious kind of way, just in a political kind of way. And it's really just highlighting why, me personally, this is my own personal opinion, I wish politics did not play a role in sports. I understand it does, and I understand that sometimes it's beneficial when you play the political, when you play the politics in the sports realm. But me personally, if I could do away with the bad part of the politics and by product, do away with the good part of the politics, I'll take that, because this Jaylen Brown situation, to me, in my research, is all political. The man has done nothing outside of stood on his principles, stood on his beliefs, which I thought was something that drove this country, drove human nature. He stood by what he believed in, and he's being punished for it. But let's get right into it, because Grant Hill made some very disgusting comments, and it's really the reason why a lot of people are doubling back on this situation. Like I said, I've spoken around to it a little bit, but just as far as when I was breaking down the Team USA roster, just explaining why I felt like Jaylen Brown and Kyrie Irving, another guy I felt like that was snubbed from this list, definitely could have used his services. Because Kyrie played defense too, low key. But I was just kind of going through my personal reasons why I didn't feel like they made the team. Well, lo and behold, Grant Hill's made some comments about this whole, we had to make sure it was the right combinations and right lineups, and he feels like it's conspiracy theorists out there making up theories as to why players like. Now, he didn't say Jaylen Brown by his name, I don't believe. When I listened to the interview, I don't recall him saying his name or Kyrie, but he was hinting at those guys as far as why they weren't selected. It was for combination reasons, and you just got to call bull crap on that. Now, not up until this point had I had a bone to pick with Grant Hill. I thought he was a phenomenal player in his time, playing. Apparently, him and Trae Young have some differences. I'm not very educated on what the details of what happened between those two. I'll have to look into it, but a lot of people in the NBA circles, Grant Hill rubbed them the wrong way, and Trae Young as well, just how they both acted in that situation. Again, I'll probably make a video highlighting that situation if I get the time to look into it. But as far as this goes, it wasn't up until this particular interview that I had a problem with Grant Hill, because clear as day, he's lying. He's doing the dirty work of Nike, which we're going to talk about their role and all of this in just a second. He's pretty much trying to play cleanup man, a company man, to Nike's bidding. And this whole, we're just doing this for the combinations, because the thing about all of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that I believe it kind of started with, Kawhi Leonard leaving the team, and everybody presumed that Jaylen Brown would probably take his spot, as he had the same kind of skill set that Kawhi Leonard presents. And even if you're looking at stature, 6'6", 6'7" guy that could play the wing, play defense. I mean, Kawhi Leonard would fall probably in the same kind of prototype of a basketball player, but Team USA shook up the basketball world by selecting Derek White. No knock on Derek White, but he is not the player that Jaylen Brown is, and nor could he. I don't feel like that. I'm going to say it like this. I feel like everything that Derek White does, Jaylen Brown does it better. Derek White isn't a pure point guard per se, so he doesn't exactly run plays or set up every plays. That's the same thing that Jaylen Brown does. Jaylen Brown Derek White is probably a better shooter, tit for tat, if you want to go with the 3-point thing. But at the same time, we got Kevin Durant, we got Devin Booker, we got Steph Curry. That wouldn't have been a focus point. That wouldn't have been a flaw, I should say, for Jaylen Brown on this team. So give or take, and nobody said that nobody has said that Derek White was selected to Team USA because of his 3-point prowess. I'm sorry, nobody said that. Definitely Grant Hill didn't say that. So BS. You know what I mean? Everything that Derek White does, Jaylen Brown does it better. And I'm just going to throw the disclaimer, 3-point shooting out there. But anything else, give me Jaylen Brown every day and twice on Sundays. And it's the point of the matter that Jaylen Brown is the Finals MVP, the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, although that's a weird award to me. He still was the best player, leading his team to the big games. Outside of that, Jaylen Brown has displayed the ability to take a step back statistically, and with his ego, and sacrifice what he needed to sacrifice for the sake of the ultimate goal of the team. As we've seen him and Jason Tatum just do that this season, allowing Kristaps Porzingis to take more of a role. Take a few more of their shots, allowing Drew Holiday to take some shots, Derek White, and the whole team. It was a complete team effort. Shout out to the Boston Celtics. But there's nothing that Grant Hill can say, that justifies Derek White being picked over Jaylen Brown. And if you all wasn't aware, Jaylen Brown himself spoke to, not to Grant Hill, but just, as far as speaking to this situation, he responded, to Grant Hill, essentially calling him a conspiracy theorist, and just giving all this BS again as to why Jaylen Brown wasn't selected. Jaylen Brown told him, like, look, bro, he's not worried about Nike or their resources. And dang, I just had it in my head what the other part he had said. Oh, no, he said he was highly upset that Grant Hill would call him or consider him a conspiracy theorist, considering the fact that he's been the NBA's president, I forget, the NBA Player Association's president or vice president since he was 21 years old. I believe Jaylen Brown is right now 27 or 28 years old. So, all this time. So he also stated that he has a great understanding as to how these things work, which I would imagine he does, considering he's, been an important shaker and mover for the NBA all these years. I'm sure he knows how this thing goes. He can connect with the same people that Grant Hill connect with, and talk to as far as how this stuff goes. So, kudos to Jaylen Brown, man, again, for responding to this situation and standing on his business, and also responding to Nike. Because when the roster first came out, I remember him tweeting, Nike, this what we doing. And I didn't really understand it at that time. But apparently Nike is the biggest partner in Team USA's, and network, endorsement, I guess you want to say, circles. Nike is the biggest contributor. And this is why I say that, and politics cannot dominate sports, because things like this are always going to happen. It's to my understanding that 9 of our 12 guys on Team USA are on the Nike payroll. They are Nike athletes. That's no surprise because again, this is a pretty much a Nike tournament now. And unfortunately, again, like I say, Jaylen Brown, I believe he is a Nike athlete, but the fact of the matter that he has stood on his own principles as a man, he stood with Kyrie when Kyrie Irving was being persecuted for no reason at all. I didn't get that, but Jaylen Brown stood on his 10 toes and stood with Kyrie, and I appreciated him for that. And now he's being punished for doing the right things, the things that the NBA will say we want these guys to be role models and all that kind of stuff. Well, this is part of being a role model. You know what I mean? You got to call out wrong when it's wrong. You got to stand up for right when it's right. And I just feel like it's no reason in the world or there's no excuse that justifies why Jaylen Brown is not on this team, man. And between Grant Hill, Nike, and Steve Kerr, it's starting to feel like this is nasty work. It's very nasty work. Jason Tatum, I made a video on why he did not play a single minute in that blowout game versus Serbia. And that's crazy because the women's team blew out Japan, right? And found a way to get everybody in the game. Kalia Copper had not played up until like the fourth quarter, I believe. So it's crazy that the women's team could figure it out in the blowout, but Steve Kerr couldn't. That's why I say, man, this is all nasty work. I think I should get a whole nother video dedicated to Steve Kerr because I've been really letting Steve Kerr go with a lot of crap for years, and not in the sense of biasness. It's just I didn't really deem it necessary to talk about it because a lot of people have criticisms as far as Steve Kerr's coaching goes. And Dennis Rodman said something. I read an article the other day, or an interview I believe he did. I don't know where, but I read something where Dennis Rodman spoke about Steve Kerr, and he was like, man, he ain't coaching those kids in Golden State. He never had to coach those guys. He said that those guys was on autopilot and Steve Kerr just showed up. And I'm just like, damn, that's a former teammate talking crazy about you. And, we don't know. I don't know. I was never able to, maybe I should say this. I didn't do the proper investigating to see, to come to a conclusion if Steve Kerr is a sham or not. This whole Jason Tatum being benched kind of shine some light on that with all the criticism that he's gotten over the years. And so now I'm invested. I'm going to have to look into it. And I'm definitely going to have a Steve Kerr video coming for y'all soon. But I think he's a part of this, the Nike agenda. Grant Hill as well. And they're really doing the Jays wrong, man. I feel like Jaylen Brown is being done wrong because of him standing up for what he believes in. I feel like Jason Tatum is being done wrong because he stands with Jaylen Brown to this day. You know what I mean? He ain't said nothing while he's in the Olympics. I didn't see any quotes or anything from him. But at the same time, we all know that Jason Tatum rocks with Jaylen Brown. And the media, for whatever reason, has been trying to drive a wedge between these two brothers since they've been drafted to the Boston Celtics. I don't know what it is. Maybe the media just loves the Lakers more than they love Boston because they don't ever talk about Boston, the way they talk about the Lakers, all that kind of stuff. So maybe it's just the agenda with the media too, man. Like, whenever the Boston Celtics are doing good, don't talk about it really, or talk crazy and do all this crazy stuff because I've never seen such a campaign to break up two basketball players. I mean, they tried it a little bit with Clay and Steph. They did try it, but I believe Clay, although he's never verbalized it or the media has never really casted him into the role. I believe that Clay knew that if this was the Jordan and Pippen, effect, he was the Pippen, and Clay already accepted, that role. And I hate when people say this Scottie Pippen because it seems like you're diminishing, what Scottie Pippen was for the Chicago Bulls. But no, that's the second best player undoubtedly on a dynasty. You know, that's when you say Scottie Pippen, that's what you're saying. You're the second best player on a dynasty, not just a basketball team, not just the second best player. You're the second best player on a dynasty-like team, and you're always going to have a leader, and you're always going to have role players. So, for Clay to accept what he was and allow things to be the way they played out in Golden State. That was just kudos to him. And the media tried to drive a wedge between him and Steph, but like I said, I always attributed it to Steph. I mean, not Steph. I always attributed it to Clay for not allowing it to happen. You know, because Steph was only out there doing his thing. Steph just plays basketball. If Clay started with that ego stuff, I want my team, then of course we wouldn't have gotten the Splash Brothers, so forth and so on. I feel like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have done this exact same thing, except they've not that there is a number one option per se, not that either one is better than the other. I think these two brothers have just accepted, hey, me and you ball good together. They don't need a number one or a number two. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm a number one tonight, boom. If you the number one tomorrow night, boom. Because in the NBA Finals, Jason Tatum was the number one option in Game 3, and he balled out. He had a good game. A good game by, the standards of that game. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't shoot that well, but I think he was the highest point scorer and was just the focal point of the offense. So I think that the Jays have accepted that's what they are and that's how they operate. And nobody hates that except for the lamestream media and Nike, who we could attribute it to endorsing the lamestream media as well. But that's just my thoughts on this situation. Again, I wanted to make sure I did my due diligence before I spoke on the situation. It's just crazy. It's unfortunate. And it's going to be crazy what Team USA looks like in the future. You know, how they're doing Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown right now. There will be no LeBron James in the next Olympics. No Kevin Durant. Maybe Kevin Durant will still be around. Kevin Durant would be LeBron James's age right now. He'd be 39 in 4 years. We may not have a Steph Curry in the next Olympics. So, you're going to be really looking to this next wave of players to be the leaders, the guys like the Jays. You know what I mean? They're going to be in the leadership roles the next Olympics that come around, if they so decide to even choose to play for this team, because they've been through a lot with just this summer, man. You think the summer after you win a championship, it's supposed to be a lot more highs than lows, a lot more praise than ridicule, and it just seems like these brothers can't catch a break. They couldn't catch one before they won their chip, and now they getting even more heat now that they got their chip. But that's all I got for y'all on this one. I do want to say as well that Steve Kerr did say that Jason Tatum is playing in the next game against South Sudan. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing how he does the combinations, because that was the reason why he said Jason Tatum did not play. Jason Tatum and also Tyrese Halliburton. I don't care about Tyrese Halliburton, and I say that respectfully to him. I like him as a player, but I thought that he was the most replaceable basketball player on the Team USA roster. I think that he has Kyrie Irving's spot directly, but easily could have gave that spot to anybody else. Another premium point guard for sure. Give me De'Aaron Fox. I know Jalen Brunson's hand is broke, but, give me, and respectfully, I know that Tyrese Halliburton made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I just, you know what I mean? I don't know if I want him on the Team USA team right now. He's only really had one and a half good seasons. So that's just my opinion on that. But nonetheless, Jason Tatum will be in the next game. Looking forward to that. Once again, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well. Hit the notification, subscribe to the channel, join the fam as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave y'all thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always interested to know what y'all got to say about these topics. I thank y'all for the love and support. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.